Field is definitely moving more toward specialization. There's no question about
So you
it.
kind of lament that.
Well, yes and no. I would lament it for me, and I assume that there are probably a lot of other practitioners who would like to be able to work in a number of areas. But there are also many practitioners who love working in one area. They love, because, you know, there's a virtue flaw in working in several areas. The virtue is that it's always interesting, you're always learning. The flaw is you're not necessarily known as well in one area, or you may not have the exact expertise that someone who has done hundreds or thousands of cases. Now, my suspicion is many of the people, at least that I work with, since I'm asked to do advanced dispute resolution training, many of those people who have done the 100,000 cases are bored to death.
Right.
They want to work in multiple areas, but they've been put into a niche, and they, you know.
I'm curious. You're working in Sri Lanka, and you're discussing economic development there.
Right.
Have there ever been times when you have used a technique that was primarily derived from doing a divorce mediation?
Well,
Can
certainly.
you distinguish it to that extent?
I wouldn't distinguish it, but I would say that I think that many of the people who do either family or interpersonal mediation work are probably more highly tuned to the psychological dynamics, both of individuals and interpersonal relationships, than some of the people who work on large public disputes. That's one of the things I guess I value, because I feel like I and many of my colleagues come from a background where we've worked on interpersonal disputes, but then we work on the large public disputes, and you can carry those insights through to any interpersonal dispute.
Yeah.
The person who maybe works primarily, say, in insurance cases, where, for example, you're working with representatives and you're not working necessarily with the primary parties, may not have had the opportunity to hone those interpersonal skills to the extent that you would if you'd done some work in the interpersonal dispute resolution field.
So let me ask